What's up, YouTube? It is your boy JB, and I am here with a review for Marriage Bootcamp Hip Hop Edition, Season 14, Episode 2, titled Drop the Mic. So, you guys, without further ado, let's go ahead and just jump into this episode. Alright, you guys, so this episode, it picked up where last week's episode ended, and that was with Jocelyn and Ballistic Beats. They're having an argument. So Dr. Ish went in there where Jocelyn and Ballistic was, and Ballistic wanted to know, like, why do we have this friend zone here? So Dr. Ish tells him that the reason that you guys have the friend zone is because, she wants marriage, and she feels like if she doesn't get, if you don't give her what she wants, that's where the line's gonna be drawn, that you guys are just gonna be friends with each other. So that's where they are with that situation, is friend zone. So then also Dr. Ish was talking about the reason why Jocelyn is, is acting the way she is when it comes to her wanting marriage from Ballistic is because of her past. Her not having the love from her mom, her parents. And she does agree with what Dr. Ish said, that is what it is. She feels like, once you get to a certain point in your relationship, that you got to make that, stamp, make it official, make it real. And I do feel bad for Jocelyn, but, if this man is really sitting here showing you that he is all about you and nobody else, then you might just need to take the small baby steps that need to be taken to get to where you want to be, which is being his wife. And like he said, let him, like I said last week, and he also kind of said it, let him make the moves. It's okay to want that, but you got to put in the work. You got to do everything that leads up to it. And then, we also saw them in the kitchen. They talking to the others. And, Jocelyn is kind of looking at this whole thing as if it's a business arrangement. I'm just like, wow. You can't look at a relationship as if it's a business transaction. But, we all see where they are currently in a relationship. But let's move on, you guys. All right, you guys. So for day 2, the couples meet with Dr. Ish. So what they're doing is they're going to, it's like a record store. So what they're going to do is they're going through these records, and they're picking out, their 5 biggest blames. And so they're going to have to post, put them up and tell what, why they picked each one, basically. So first up is Bianca and Chose. So Bianca, her top one that she chose was, she doesn't feel like he protects her heart. And when she says that, she feels like he puts other people before her. And, he tells her that he feels like she makes up scenarios in her head. And she's like, I don't make up scenarios in my head. She's like, what am I supposed to think when I see you on social media with this and this and that? And then Chose is like, well, you got to stop letting social media, get in between us. Don't let those likes and, and comments get, come in between us. And my thing with Bianca and Chose is like, I keep saying this, is they are very young. Their issues, I'm not going to say their issues are not important, but their issues are very trivial. Like, it's something that, a young couple goes through. And then when Chosen said that he's 23, I'm like, that's what it is. Bianca's in her late 20s. I think she's 28, and Chosen is 23. Like, you guys have a lot of living and a lot of growing to do, because the stuff that you guys are doing, it's not that big. It's not that deep or that serious. And, so he also says that, his biggest issue with her is he makes her feel anxious. She makes him feel anxious because, she calls him, sometimes blocked, 600 times in a row. And then, she was talking about how, she's been pregnant by him 3 times. Well, now you got to add 4 times to the list because you're currently pregnant now. One time they chose to, I think she said they chose to have an abortion. Then another time she had a miscarriage. And, she said she was calling him while he was at school. And the whole thing with those two didn't make a lot of sense to me. What I put in my notes were, Bianca and Chosen, like I said, they're young kids. And now they're bringing a baby into this. So I hope that Marriage Bootcamp did help them, because looking at them on this show, it begs the question of, you guys are kids. How do you guys expect to raise a child with the mentality and the mindset that you guys both have? Like, I just can't see it. I don't see it. And then, Dr. Ish asked them how long do they think that their relationship will last. Jocelyn said they ain't going to make it past the weekend. And I actually 100% agree with Jocelyn. And Jocelyn also told Bianca that she needs to love herself first. And then, she needs to stop being so toxic. which I completely 100% agree with Jocelyn with her assessment of that one. So then next up is Jocelyn and Ballistic. So Jocelyn, well, actually Ballistic was first. He feels like there's communication issues with them. He feels like when he talks to her or bring anything up to her, that she cuts him off right at the knees. And Jocelyn doesn't see it that way. She doesn't see it as disrespect, but absolutely is disrespect when you. I mean, we all know what Jocelyn's personality is. We all know she has a big in her life personality. We all know she's very dominant in most ways. But with a guy like Ballistic, like he wants to lead you. He wants to be the leader of leader and the head of the household. You need to allow him to be that. And then she's talking about he holds on to his past. So what it is with his past is one of his friends. They didn't say what happened, but one of his friends was his friends passed away, and Ballistic almost lost his life as well. So they didn't go into great detail about that, but I would really love to know what that situation was. And then we move over to Styles P and Ajwa. I don't know if I said it last week in last week's episode review, but Ajwa, I mean, I can't stop looking at her. She is a beautiful chocolate woman. So their issue is that, he feels that she likes to argue a lot with him. And I can actually see it. Because you cheated on her. So, she probably feel like she can't trust you and that was her thing. Trust. Because of the infidelity. So that might be her way of saying, you've done this to me, you've hurt me. I've moved past it, but it's something that still lingers in the back of my mind. That's what I feel when it comes to Styles P and Ajwa. I could be wrong, but that's just what my interpretation is. Then we got next up Mischa and Stu. Mischa is still on this whole thing of, I think that Stu, he has an intimacy issue, and I feel that I'm not his type. We can go in for days on Mischa, and I'm just gonna touch on it like I did last week. The issue with Mischa, even if because we all know that there's a couple that's fake. It's Mischa and Stu, but the issue with Mischa is she's a gorgeous woman. I just still feel like Mischa still holds on to the shit that happened to her in her past with Dr. Dre and Sugar Bear. That's where her issues lie. Once Mischa can get past the dysfunction of those two relationships, Mischa can do, excel, go further in relationships. But right now she's stunted in what she only knows is abuse, talking down to you, mistreating you. That's what she's used to. She's not used to someone probably being attentive to her. And I just want her, what it is, I want Mischa to love herself. So Stu, he feels like Mischa is pawning him off. He has every right to believe that because that's exactly what she's doing. Mischa feels like, I'm not attractive enough for him. I'm not young enough for him. There's another woman out there that can do what I can't do for him. And I also wonder if maybe Michela's thing, even if this was, I wonder if her thing is the fact that, because she keeps bringing up her age. So I'm wondering if the fact that Stu, which Stu actually looks like he's older than Mischa, but I wonder if her thing is the fact that, when some older women get with younger men, they feel like, the man might leave them because either one, they've already had kids and raised kids, and the man doesn't have any kids and they don't want to have kids again. So they might think that, hey, he might leave me for a woman that can give him what I can't give him or what I don't want to give him, which is kids. So I really wonder if that is Michela's thing. Who knows? So then next up was Cee Lo and Jane. So Cee Lo, Shani's thing is communication. Yes, Cee Lo is this great writer. He's talented at writing, but when it comes down to communication with her, she feels like she just wants to be plain, Jane, have a conversation with her. And Cee Lo's issue is with her disrespect. He feels like whenever, which it didn't make a lot of sense to me. He feels like whenever he feels like she's disrespecting him, then he disrespects her. He comes back and be disrespectful to her. And then, he blames her for making him, feel like he's disrespecting himself by disrespecting her. It didn't make a lot of sense to me. So I can't really say that I don't even understand that situation. But I definitely understand Shani. Shani is basically saying you have this colorful vocabulary. You have this you use these big, huge words. What I want you to do is just come to me in plain layman's terms. And, that's where she is. Now Styles P, he did get emotional watching Cee Lo and Shandy, because I feel like he was looking at himself, because he's talking about how you love your spouse more than you love yourself, and you don't want to hurt them. So I feel like with him watching Cee Lo and Shandy, I feel like he saw a bit of himself in those two. So then they broke apart, and everyone started to notice the fact that Mischa and Stu are very rarely together. So then we also saw Bianca and Chose. Again, they're just too young. Because at one point, Bianca had her arms locked around him, showing him affection, but he didn't want her to show him affection. I'm just like, what the hell is going on here? This don't make any sense to me. So that's again why I say Bianca and Chose are just really, really young in their mindset of what they're doing and how they are interacting with one another. It just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. It makes no sense to me. But let's move on, you guys. All right, you guys. So then next, Dr. Ish has him out in the backyard. So what they're gonna do is, you remember that they picked those records about what they felt in a relationship. So what they have now to do is they have 30 minutes to write a rap centering around the words that they chose for their blame games with their relationships. So each couple went. They all did a fantastic. They did a good job. Shandy's not a rapper, and Shandy did a good job, and Stu is not a rapper, and Stu did really, really well. So I liked the raps were pretty, really good. Even Johnson did good. And when she did Spanish, I'm like, okay, cool. I was feeling all of them. So at the end of it, Dr. Ish, he gave them, their records. He told them to pull it out. So what they pulled out were broken records. And even he's telling them, like, you guys, you both have, each of you have a broken record. You can put it back together, but you still have those cracks in it. And basically, in a nutshell, with the blame game, you never, even in a relationship, you can never win when when each one partner is blaming the other partner. It's equal partnership. So you guys have equal, responsibility in this relationship. So if one person, and I'm just gonna use Cee Lo and Shanny for an example. If Shanny feels like their communication issues lack in their relationship, then it's up to you to bring it to your partner and say, hey, when it comes down to the way you talk to me, I don't like that. Like, can you talk to me? I know I know you're a rapper, I know you're a writer, and I know you have this colorful vocabulary, but I would prefer it if you just come to me and talk to me in plain old layman's terms. Just use normal average everyday words that are someone would understand. And also, like with Styles P and Oshawa, like Styles could go to Oshawa and tell her, like, I already have so much stuff piled up on me, and when you come at me, and when we're arguing and stuff, it's just adding more stress to me. And then I can't even use Bianca and Chose as an example, because they got a lot of issues that they just need to work out, and it's just so much stuff with those two that I just can't even pinpoint it. And with Jocelyn and Ballistic could sit down with Jocelyn and say, "Hey, Jocelyn, like, I'm trying to be the man that you want me to be, but I feel like you demean me. I feel like you belittle me. I feel like you're talking down to me. Like, so there are ways that they can all address their issues with one another. I did forget to mention that earlier in the episode, Jocelyn, we all know how Jocelyn is about sex. And, it just feels like she comes off very dominant. She's dominant. She's just headstrong. And you know, I hope that, look, with Marriage Bootcamp, I hope that this helped her, because the way that she treats Ballistic, I, I, I just couldn't imagine being with someone that treats you like that. But obviously, he loves her enough to sit there and deal with it. So then we see Judge Toller. So she comes in and they do a jury of our peers, judge of our peers, or something like that. And they just basically give their assessments of each couple. They started with Bianca and Chose's. Like I said just a minute ago, there's a lot of shit between Bianca and Chose's that They might need to sit down and have counseling, to be quite honest with you. Mischa and Alicia, they talked about them. Mischa, she just got to let go of the shit from her past. That's really what her issue is. They tried to talk about Jocelyn and what's his name? Ballistic Beats. But Mischa decided to chime in and talk about, you notice that Stu had his arm around. You notice that Stu had his arm around me. But when you mentioned Jocelyn, he took his arm off of me. And it's just like, okay, Mischa. And that's his type. That's his type right there. And, Mischa, get your shit together. Get it together. They talked about Styles P and Aja. I can't remember. Basically, like I said, all their assessments of each other spot on. Because even Judge Lynn Toler was agreeing with them. Like I said, Cee Lo and Shanny, they got to figure out a way to communicate with each other in a way that's conducive for both of them. Styles P and Aja, you can't from the surface, you can't really see what their issues are. That was the biggest thing. You can't see their issues, but they do have issues. You just don't see it on the surface because they do a good job of hiding it. That's what it was. So you guys, that was Marriage Bootcamp Hip Hop Edition. So be sure to like this video, leave your comments, subscribe to the channel, hit that bell notification button so you guys know when I drop anything else. Share this video, and I will catch you guys later.